Hello, friends and family of the internet. Welcome back, whether you're watching this morning, evening, or night. It is officially September 15th, 2025. 5 days post the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And today we're going to talk about the biggest conspiracy swirling on the internet. Did Israel put a hit out on Charlie Kirk? Did he fear for his life? We're going to deep dive that. What about the pictures of Erica Kirk at basically his coffin? Was that really him? Is he hidden away in Valhalla, the code word for, Secret Service hiding you away into protective custody? Guys, there's so much to talk about. We're even going to deep dive the South Park episode, how Charlie Kirk actually felt about them doing a South Park episode of him in August of 2025, and then the backlash post his assassination. So many things to talk about, friends and family of the internet and fellow watchers on the wall. You're not going to want to turn this video off. I'm going to try to condense it to make it easier for you. I will link everything in the description of the video so you can go back and watch the full videos and read the entirety of the articles, because the one thing that I am determined to do is provide receipts. Friends and family, with the AI deepfakes going on that I showed you last night, with the people not understanding how the Smith-Mundt Act is coming into play, how Project Mockingbird has taken over our lives in the past 13 years, and nobody is held accountable for any nonsense that they say anymore. It means a lot to me that truth prevails in this time. It is a grieving period for our country, but rather than come together to make America great again, which is what Charlie Kirk fought for, the opposite is happening. By the way, YouTube does not pay me. They consider my content harmful because they're a private business and they can do that. They have removed my freedom of speech. If you would like to support what I do here, please consider it. Look in the top of comments. We'll get you our monthly newsletter and you can Zoom with me. Okay, guys, so here we go. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, weeps over his casket in emotional photos. You have no idea. Here she is, weeping over his open casket. Here she is holding on to his jacket. And this is the photo that is taking social media by storm. So many people are upset about the color of his hands. They are claiming that this is a mannequin, that he looks stuffed. Why didn't they show pictures of his face? I'm going to ask you all to be a little more tactful, first off. She's holding his medal and she's holding his hands. And look, they make a point to say the grieving widow held Kirk's yellowed hands. Folks, they do this. It's a psyop to make you think something that is not true. Okay. Yes, he actually died. And just stay with me. I'm actually going to show you a woman who's going to explain to you why his hands are yellowed, but it's going to be at the end of the video. Charlie Kirk funeral, it's fake. They put a mannequin in his coffin, show his hands, but not his face. And now AI is weighing in. GROK is telling people online that this is not a human, that it's a mannequin, that it's fake. And we talked about AI, about how it's only going to be as honest as the person that programmed it, right? This is so bad. Who in their right minds believes this BS? Why don't they also show his face? In her first social media post, Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, posted video and photos from the last 28 hours. They have no idea what they just ignited within this wife. If they thought my husband's mission was big now, you have no idea. You, all of you. And then somebody said, send me over the edge. The hand in the image does look quite realistic at first glance, but upon closer inspection, there are a few signs that suggest that it may be a silicone hand or a prosthetic. So this is going all over social media, whoever TJ is, right? He's got just a few followers. Seeing him like this sends me over the edge. Let's see if it'll pull it up real quick, guys.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. God bless you. Oh, I love you.
And people are saying that her whispering to him is wrong somehow. Have people just lost all their humanity? Is it just me that's like, is this the world that I am forced to live in? God, please. Folks, when my aunt passed away, when I got to her before she was embalmed, she was already looking fake. That's what dead bodies look like, especially after embalming. And again, I'm going to show you a woman who does this for a living that's going to debunk what you're being told. But I kneeled at the side of her bed and held her hand just like Erica was doing. And I cried to her and I told her, knowing that she was no longer there, that I loved her and that she had saved me and that she had changed my life and took me off the streets and gave me a chance. I poured my heart out. That is so normal for someone that is truly grieving. Then somebody else says, at the real Dr. Jane Ruby, where exactly did they take him? A hospital? Hospitals record everything like time of arrival, procedures, a time of death. An airport, there should be a manifest with passengers' flight plan and proof of takeoff and landing. Why is there no information about what happened after the shooting? Where was he taken? And I've actually seen people. There was a small hospital close. He was already dead, you guys. All right. By the time they got, look at the blood on his arm here. I mean, like people have just, it's out of control. Then somebody else says Charlie scuttled off with a private jet after finishing serving faithfully his Jewish paymasters. And there's the thing. It's articles like this that people read and they take it as if it is gospel. Now, I don't know if a lot of you know who Ian Carroll is, but if you do, or if you know who InfoWars are, let's talk about this, them clipping a clip of Charlie Kirk talking to Megyn Kelly and then telling you without showing you. Now, let me make that point. They're not going to show you the clip, but he's going to tell you what he thinks they meant.
Most part, you kind of do need the audio. So Charlie Kirk was saying we should release all the Epstein files, right? But that's not it. I'm sure that you guys have seen his interview with Megyn Kelly where he opened.
It says Harrison H. Smith, August 13th. I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Where's the proof? Who's the person? You don't get, guys, you do not get to make an allegation of that magnitude without naming sources.
With the words, I'm terrified. And then they go back and forth talking about how they have received some real pushback from sort of the donor class that like it just feels sketchy. And Harrison, this is the video that Harrison was referring to in this kind of original tweet and conversation. He did a really great stream on InfoWars about it. He was referring to this conversation between Charlie and Megyn where they were kind of going back and forth and they just felt scared. It felt weird and sketchy.
All right, so it's important to note he never said in that interview with Megyn Kelly, and I went back and looked at it because some of my commenters recommended me to do it, that he was scared for his life from the direction of Israel. That allegation comes from unnamed sources that I believe Harrison Smith put forward and said, something like a tweet maybe about a month ago that something like, I'm not going to name names, but, Charlie Kirk told me that he's afraid that if he betrays Israel, he's going to be killed. That's not part of that video. I just want to be clear about that, provide clarification, because that's a narrative out there right now. But I don't know that that's substantiated by Charlie himself. Now, I'm not saying that can't be true no matter what, but there's no film of Charlie saying that. And when he had that clip about him asking for the release of the Epstein files, there's no more mainstream talking point than that from the right. And it's been that way for 5 years. Even people influential bucked Trump on this, pushed back against Trump when Trump covered up the Epstein files and refused to release them and made up a farcical narrative about how it's a Democratic hoax and it's boring. And hey, look at this grand jury testimony. No, don't look there. Here's an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell where we don't push back. All of that mainstream talking point. In no part does he say that, you know, Epstein was working for Mossad. He never asserts that in any footage I can see or questions Israel's culpability in influencing Epstein, which we've talked about a lot here. You know, I buy generally the narrative that that's the most plausible scenario, that Israel had Epstein as an asset, but I haven't seen that from Charlie.
And that's where you have to be careful, because when I play you the South Park episode and how Charlie responded to being on South Park, they actually, one of the guys that he's talking to about it goes, you know, they just get it so wrong. You've got this one group of conspiracy theorists out there saying that Charlie Kirk is a Zionist and he's bought and paid for by Israel. Then you've got another group out there that was like, he has turned on Israel and Israel killed him. But the one thing all of these conspiracy people have in common is the same person they're blaming for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Why is that? Well, because Satan hates Israel. And a lot of people just for some reason, and honest to God, I cannot wrap my mind around how an 80-year-old Democrat country can be such a boogeyman for everybody else. Like if you listen to these Israel hating commentators, Israel has been controlling the world for 2,000 years while they were, you know, let my people go captive in Egypt, while their homelands were stolen by the Romans and renamed Palestine to torment them. They're the only Jewish Christian Arab country in the Middle East surrounded by nothing but Islamic terrorist states. And yet nobody thinks anybody's bad but Israel. And I just can't. It's like mind blowing. Like there's 15,000 Jews in the world, 15,000. I'm sorry, 15 million Jews in the entirety of the world. 15 million, folks. There's 8 billion people.
He was talking about like really highly intellectual critiques of Jewish donors in the American left funding cultural Marxism and like things that degrade like American values. And he was totally not shy about talking about it. This is more recent clip, but like he, with his knowledge and political expertise, if this man starts criticizing Israel in an earnest way, in an unfiltered way, he has the wherewithal and the political understanding to really open some cans of worms. And
that part I agree with, the last part he said, but in the clip he's showing here, and I've seen this clip too, Charlie Kirk complains that Jewish American donors are influencing anti-Christian schemes that do those things, that support cultural Marxism, etc., that Ian just said. But at no point, again, does he complain about Israel, you know, causing that financially and bankrolling that financially. He's saying Jewish Americans, and that's a little bit different than saying Israel has financed that. And
it's a big difference. Again, this will be in the description of the video. Go watch it yourself. But this is why I put all the content I talk about in the description and tell you, go watch the video. Because you're watching someone else tell you what Charlie Kirk said or what Charlie Kirk was afraid of. That is a secondhand source of information. That doesn't even hold up in court, friends and family, unless the person has been murdered. Rarely will a secondhand report be allowed inside of a courtroom. Why? Because it's not good enough. It's your opinion. So you got to go to a first-hand source of information, and this is considered first-hand right here.
The Talmud states that Jews are the chosen people, and all non-Jews are goyim, here to serve them. You are a Christian who's clearly serving the Jews, defending Zionism with all you got. But you also believe Jesus is a rabbinic Jew in heaven when you know the Talmud states he's in hell burning in feces.
Okay, so you're a Talmudic expert, right? Which Talmud is that in, Jerusalem or Babylonian?
I'm talking about Jerusalem, sir.
Oh, that's the Jerusalem, which actually is not as divinely inspired. Which one's longer and how long is it? Don't look at your phone, look at me in the eye.
I'm not
No, come
really
on, you said that I'm a tool of the Jews, so look at me in the eye like a man.
I'm talking about the Talmud.
No, you accused me of saying like you're a Zionist or something, right?
I mean, do you support Israel?
Yes, of course I do, yes.
Okay, that's good for you. But that's another thing. You're an advocate for the military in America.
Hold on, time out,
But
time
then
out, time
you
out.
agree with Israel's war crimes. What's up with that?
Oh, war crimes. We'll get into that, but let's be more specific.
Yeah.
What is your point here of dragging up a multi-thousand-year text that you don't know, that you haven't read?
I mean, it's
you
your
have not
religion.
even. Have you
You're gonna
purchased the
agree with
Talmud?
it.
Have you read the Talmud? What is the Talmud? Tell me the difference between the Torah, the Tanakh, and the Talmud. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
But
That's pretty important. Time out.
that's
So
why I'm-
what you did is you cherry-picked something on the internet that makes Jews look bad, but you can't tell me the difference between the Torah and the Tanakh and the
I'm
Talmud.
not trying to make the Jews look
No,
bad.
no, but
What I'm trying to tell
this
you-
is ridiculous. This is for clickbait. Let me tell you the difference. The Torah is the books that we as Christians acknowledge. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the most holy scriptures in Judaism. The Tanakh is also our Old Testament, right? That's Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Kings, Hezekiah, Nehemiah, Ezekiel. The Talmud are rabbinic debates spanning over 500 years, of which there's the Babylonian and the Jerusalem Talmud. The Babylonian's actually more inspired. It's 2.5 million words. The Jerusalem is lesser inspired, and they disagree on all sorts of stuff, and they pick it up. Those are people that would they say, well, I
that's why
disagree
I'm
with that.
asking you if
No,
you
but hold on
agree
a
or
second.
not.
But it's very important. You don't even know the stuff that you're bringing up to this event.
That's why I'm asking you.
No.
Agree?
It's really important because what you're trying is like this context. You're a tool of the
It's
Jews,
just-
and I read this thing. But
It's
let's just make this very clear.
Sir, it's an agree to a disagreement. I'm not here
It's
to
not agree to
argue.
disagreement.
Do you
It's
agree
very
with what
clear.
it
Is
said
that
or not?
you don't even know the stuff you're bringing up to make
So
someone
that's why
look
I'm
bad.
asking you, do you agree or disagree so I can
Of
be
course I
knowledgeable on it?
disagree with rabbinic
There you
Judaism.
go.
I'm a
So-
Christian.
so-
Jesus is the solution. Oh, I hope
master
every Jew
this-
gives their life to
Amen.
Christ.
This debating thing and
But hold on, this is
communication.
very important.
You're trying to get clicks out of it. All I'm asking you is if
No, you
agree
were
or
trying to get
disagree.
clicks out. Who was trying to get clicks? He was trying to get
I'm
clicks
not- I don't have a
out
YouTube
of
channel.
trying to read the Talmud. You don't even know what it is, the Talmud.
Okay, that's why I'm asking
Let
what
me
I'm-
ask you a question. Do we as Christians have a biblical obligation to the Jews?
I mean, you tell me, since I'm not knowledgeable on it.
Yes, we do. Paul says.
don't? Hold up.
That's fine. Yes, I'm
You
sure.
don't?
I'm sure we're gonna have a Catholic disagree. People say we're the new Israel.
But you're
hold on a
Christian.
second.
How-
Bingo. Did you hear what he just said? Of course, I'm going to have a Catholic disagree because right now, people like Candace Owens are pushing, that's her SSPX part of the Catholic Church, that the Jews are not important anymore. God threw them away, and you and I, we the Christians and the Catholic Church, are the new Jerusalem. We're the new Jews, and everything in the Bible belongs to us. It is not only wrong, it is demonic, friends and family of the internet. Charlie Kirk supported Israel, the Jewish people, because it is what God tells Christians to do. Listen.
How can you believe that there's the chosen people? You're Christian.
Hold on
You
a second,
you
because
believe in
Paul
God?
said first to the Jews.
Okay.
Paul was around in a time after the resurrection of Christ. Don't you acknowledge that there was something special in the book of Exodus when God decided to work miraculously of those people out of Egypt and bring them into the desert? Isn't that a chosen people? Secondly, the covenant, the law, the Decalogue, the Torah, they are the keepers of the law. In fact, that's why it says in Galatians 3, the law is a school teacher of Jesus Christ. Genesis 12:3, if you bless Israel, I will bless you. Same thing in the book of Numbers. And so what I'm getting at, we as Christians are bound to bless the state of Israel and to bless Jews.
Jews. How can you bless yourself, man?
Of course, but let's just talk
why do
more
you
about
believe in
Israel.
Jews?
Do you think, who's the bad actor, Israel or Hamas?
I believe that what Hamas is doing wrong, but that's not okay for what Israel is doing to the Palestinians.
What is Israel doing exactly? Tell me in detail. Where is it
war
happening?
crimes, just
War crimes, really? How?
What do you mean how? They're killing little kids, man.
Well,
It's
hold on.
obvious.
Killing kids. You mean
They're
they drop
human.
leaflets before they bomb in Gaza? They warn civilian corridors before they ever engage militarily. They do emergency medical procedures for any person in Gaza that might need it. Do you understand what's actually?
They're doing good, but it's okay for them to do bad. Then that's what
it's
you're
called
basically
war,
saying.
okay? And in war, sometimes bad things happen.
But it's a war.
I'm so glad Charlie Kirk. See, I'm going to tell you the truth. I kept saying I wasn't sure who it was. Was it the left or the right that assassinated Charlie Kirk? But you've got a lot of neoconservatives turning on Israel. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, but they're all being bankrolled by the Middle East. So really, it's the same wing of the same bird, but they killed him because he spoke truth, and never lose focus on that. Let me tell you guys something. Israel is not the big bad boogeyman everybody keeps trying to make them out to be. I firmly believe that there's a reprobate mind being pushed across America. The Bible warns us that in the last days that the elect will fall away. That you're gonna fall away. And that breaks, it just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Let's hear what this woman, who is a mortician and embalmer, has to say about Charlie Kirk in the coffin.
Actually, the exact things people are using as proof, the yellow hands, the firmness, the waxy or silicone appearance, those are classic signs of embalming. So let's break it down. Before I dive in, I want to stop and acknowledge something really important. This is sensitive material. A man just lost his life, and his wife, Erica, is grieving in a way most of us can't even imagine. Part of me hopes she never sees this video because my goal here isn't to add to her pain. But here's the reality. People are already talking. The internet is full of rumors, conspiracy theorists, and outright misinformation. Everything from, he's still alive, to, that's a mannequin in the casket, and as an embalmer, I can't sit back and let people take these wild stories at face value. Yes, this is hard to talk about, but death is hard. He is gone, and the world is already talking about it. So instead of adding to the rumor mill, I'm here to put the facts out there to explain what's normal, what's not, and to hopefully bring some clarity to a situation that's already incredibly painful. The yellow coloring in his hands, totally normal in embalming. Circulation isn't happening anymore, so the extremities often look darker, sallow, or yellowed. Lighting in funeral homes can also exaggerate that look. I've seen that exact presentation hundreds of times. Now, as an embalmer myself, I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed in the color of his hands. I know the embalmer who worked on him may not like me saying this on the internet, but I feel like the cosmetics could have definitely been handled better. Hands and lips are two of the hardest areas for us to restore cosmetically. Hands dry out really quickly after death, and lips lose their natural moisture and fullness. If we don't hydrate the body properly, or if you use the wrong cosmetics, you get uneven skin tones, yellowing, graying, or just that slightly off color people are noticing in the photos. Another thing people bring up a lot is, why do they look waxy? That waxy look isn't because the person is fake or a mannequin. It's because the skin itself has changed. Once the embalming fluid replaces the blood, the skin is no longer being hydrated or oxygenated like it was in life. The texture literally shifts. On top of that, mortuary cosmetics are designed to sit differently than everyday makeup. We're working on skin that isn't absorbing product. Sometimes wax is used to rebuild areas. For example, if there's trauma, dehydration, or tissue loss, then makeup goes over that. The result can look smooth, even a little too smooth, or that's where that plastic or waxy description comes from. It's one of the biggest challenges we face, making someone look as natural as possible while working with skin and features that are no longer alive.
And I'm going to be honest, I've gone to funerals where people were leaking the embalming fluid from the corners of their eyes. It made it look like they were crying. I've seen it coming out of the ear canals when embalmers use too much. I have walked into funerals and smelled the decaying of the body because they didn't use enough. The fact that people are so self-centered that they demand photos or video of Charlie Kirk in the coffin as proof of death is disgusting to me. it isn't our business whether he's alive or dead. I mean, so let me put that way. We are not his family. I know a lot of people have this false sense of like connection with Charlie Kirk, like, and I've done a video with that. I am Charlie Kirk. In other words, I am just a regular Christian conservative, and I don't want to lose my life because you don't agree with my belief system. I don't want you to lose your life because you don't agree with my belief system, right? The thing is, and I think this is what bothers me the most, is that people are taking it too far. Like they are calling themselves the Charlie Kirk like warriors, and we're his army, but that's not what Charlie Kirk was about. He was about freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom, Second Amendment rights. It would just be as bad if all of us started crying that we want to remove hunting guns, because that's what he was killed with. He was killed with a 30-06. That I have one right behind me, literally in the corner back there, loaded. Because I believe in Second Amendment, right? It would be just as bad if all of us Second Amendment people were like, oh, no, now we're going to take everybody's guns because somebody assassinated Charlie Kirk. As people that are saying, you know, oh, nobody has a right to say anything bad about him because he's dead. If they're calling for violence, they should be turned into the FBI. Their employers have, you know, they have rules. Like schools have rules against hate speech for teachers and administrators. So let's HR, human relations, handle that. You don't need to be doxing people's physical addresses, because you could end up being responsible for someone innocent being injured. Do you see what I'm saying?
On the stuffed appearance, some people said he looks stuffed. That's likely because he probably underwent an autopsy.
I agree. Sure, they did an autopsy.
Wax or a restorative filler is applied over the area to smooth out the surface. Wax gives us a base that looks like natural skin. We may use airbrush cosmetics or cream-based mortuary cosmetics that are designed to cover discoloration. Special focus on the neck and face. Because Charlie's wound was in a visible place, the embalmer would have had to carefully balance coverage with a natural look. Families often prefer minimal cosmetics, especially for a young man, so the work here would have been delicate. The family knows it's there, and the funeral director will do their absolute best to cover it. But depending on the extent of the damage, it may not look exactly like it did in life. And that's just reality.
Which may have been why she refuses to release pictures of him in the coffin, because the wound would not have been able to be fully covered, folks. It was horrific. It's this whole side of his neck. I mean, that's a huge bullet. I've seen what it does to deer and to hawks. If you're not a hunter, you do not understand. If you're a hunter, you understand why it is not right to request his wife prove to the world he's dead. Let me say this about Charlie. I don't believe Charlie Kirk would have went into any type of witness protection program, leaving his wife and his children behind. And I've seen people that have donated to my channel, and you guys are amazing people. Why are you falling for that? I truly do not understand. And if you see the way that I'll pop back when I respond to you, it's because I read thousands of comments a day. Tell me one other content creator that reads every single person's comment but me. I do that because I truly care, but that does mean that after 100 comments of he's not dead, you guys don't see the truth. He's really in protective custody. Israel killed him. I lose my patience. I am human, you guys.
And so let's just play cut one. And so for those that don't understand, South Park is very popular, or you don't follow it, has a lot of cultural power. Obviously, they're very nasty towards conservatives. They were very nasty towards President Trump in the prior episode. But I think a lot of it was hilarious towards me. I think we'll go through. I got to be honest. Some of it was very funny, and I don't think we should have too thick of skin. Let's play part one, which is cut 402.
Now, watch as Fly Donovan totally destroys these woke liberal students.
Welcome to the channel, guys. Looks like a lot of whiny babies have a problem with what I say, so prove me wrong.
Hey, Clad. Well, you said nothing good ever came from the Jews, but if that's true, why are bagels so yummy? Yeah.
Well, you've obviously been taught by the Jews to have a problem with this school and with America, so let me ask you this. What is your definition of a woman?
What is my what?
What is a woman? It's a very simple question.
Well, a woman is a lady friend who, gives you kisses.
You see, you can't answer the question, but something is male or it is female. Both sides in scripture agree to that, and that's just the truth. Next.
Another folk student totally destroyed.
Oh, jeez.
Did you call the girls' soccer team a Marxist indoctrination factory?
That is correct.
We actually beat the boys 4-0, you know.
You can whine about American oppression all you want, but you're using an iPhone made by the free market to complain about a system that gave it to you. Girls have it way easy in America, and that's just the truth.
Folk student totally pwned.
Women have it good in America just...
Okay, hold on. Let me find. I want to show you what they said.
Oh, like Charlie Kirk's going to really like this portrayal. They went really easy on him. It was very affectionate. The one thing that annoys me, to be honest, although it's also like funny, is they have, Clyde Donovan is kind of parodying us, but then they have Clyde like say all this like Jew hate stuff in the episode, and I thought that was like where they really misfired.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we could have like a giant like throwdown between the people who accuse Charlie of being like a wild anti-Semite and the ones who accuse him of being like a ridiculous Israel firster, and like
So
they can
true.
annihilate each other like matter and antimatter.
I think that isn't that what Clyde basically was, right? Clyde was basically like the not Charlie.
Yeah, like it simultaneously gets Charlie ticks, but it is like the people who kind of get in on the action and try to like copy it, but they're like not as good. They're just not as good at it.
I saw Clyde as like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different characters. Like he's got like the supplement, which is very common. It's whether it's Alex Jones or whether it's Joe Rogan or anybody that's considered right coded online has a supplement brand. So that was like pretty funny actually. But yeah, I think all the Jew stuff, that was definitely my least favorite part. But I also thought it was interesting that Cartman, who has the Charlie Kirk haircut, was quoting Leviticus and basically debating abortion the whole time. So I thought that was actually pretty spot on.
What do Andrea?
Okay, so basically, Charlie Kirk liked it. He said that he's amazed. You can go back and watch the clip. He's amazed that he went from opening up folding tables without anybody stopping to South Park doing an entire episode on him. And what happens? Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and immediately people start a petition. Charlie Kirk did an entire video, I just showed it to you, laughing about the South Park, saying that he's so amazed that the younger generation now want to be Charlie Kirk. This is the crap kids are watching. Whether you and I like it, approve of it, or would allow it in our house, this is what your grandchildren, your children, your young adults watch, folks. Probably what our husbands watch when we don't know it, ladies. Let's be honest. All right. So now here come we know what Charlie would want. All in Charlie's memory. Let's take everything from everybody. This is what I was concerned about. When I did the video, what would Charlie do? What would Charlie do in this situation? He didn't start a petition to take the August 2025 episode of South Park down. He didn't do that. He laughed about it. But here we go. We have to change everything because Charlie was assassinated. And all these good-hearted people have demanded they take it down. They're now blaming South Park for his assassination. So another conspiracy. South Park encouraged Charlie Kirk's shooter. Comedy Central has pulled a recent South Park episode from its rotation in the wake of Charlie Kirk's fatal shooting. The South Park episode, a rerun featuring one of the show's main characters, Eric Cartman, parodying Kirk, was pulled from the network's scheduled rotation following Kirk's death. It was originally aired in August and was scheduled for a rerun on Wednesday night. Wednesday night, the day he got killed, it was due to rerun. Although the episode was pulled from the Comedy Central's rotation, it is available on demand and on Paramount Plus. In the episode, Cartman takes on Kirk's persona by mimicking the right-wing political activist mannerisms and confrontational debate style. Guys, if Charlie Kirk wanted that taken down, he would have asked for it to be taken down. Do y'all see what's happening? all in the name of Charlie Kirk. I get it. No, teachers, doctors, nurses, none of them should be celebrating a death. That's disgusting. I wouldn't want an anesthesiologist who is dancing to Charlie Kirk's death over my husband October 14th when he has this surgery. And if I find information that anybody on his healthcare staff is involved in that prior to surgery, I'll demand they not be part of it. Because, but I would know because they have freedom of speech. If you clamp down and remove people's freedom of speech, you're going totally against what Charlie Kirk was about. If you incite violence against somebody you disagree with, or you dox their address and their family is harmed, then you have become everything that Charlie Kirk was not. Did you know that September 10th, there was a 4.1 magnitude earthquake that hit the Uinta Basin? It's a few hundred miles away from Salt Lake City where Charlie Kirk was, but it was the same day. The earthquake struck approximately at 5:57 p.m. I wanted to share that. One of my good friends, who's like a sister in Christ to me, that always supports everything that I do, and my family, my dogs, she supports my channel so hard, just full heart. Thank you, Miss Patricia. She sent that to me. And she said, I think God is like trying to warn us. The Bible says that there'll be earthquakes in the end times. This is a spiritual battle, friends and family. Don't take it to the physical realm. You have a right to physically defend yourself if someone tries to hurt you. Absolutely. But do y'all remember this? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words have never hurt me. And in fact, if you go back and watch the entire episode of Charlie Kirk talking about the South Park, parody, he actually says we have to get thicker skin. To get thicker skin. You want to honor his memory? Be the best you. If somebody's making fun of him, not threatening. I'm so sick of people twisting my words. That's why I'm afraid of having the right to clamp down what people on the left say, because y'all can't even listen to me without immediately doing an emotional reaction and assuming I said something. You just cut it off because you don't like what I say. That just shows how immature people are. We have to be able to listen to the other side. We have to be able to have civil debate, opposing opinions, friends and family, please. It is one of our greatest things about America. But if things continue the way they're going with this Candace Owens nonsense and lawsuit from the French president, that's going to take our rights away. I already don't get paid because I said something YouTube didn't like. I hurt somebody's feelings. But the people that turn me in for harmful speech, they think that they're justified in it. They think that what I say, my rhetoric, is dangerous. So you may think that what they're saying is wrong, but maybe they don't think, because I don't think what I say is wrong. But they obviously do. Freedom of speech, but I still don't get paid. So if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee or help support us, please look in the top of comments. I love you guys. I know I'm rough around the edges, especially when I pop off with my snarky comments, but I actually care. I wouldn't spend my time trying my best to get you guys to understand. A lot of the stuff you're looking at is conspiracy. There's no truth to it. And how you don't feel that, it scares me for you. I actually care. I love you guys. Be blessed.